Hi, Bother Brigade. Here's what's bothering me today. I guess we should talk about Netflix. I was hoping to maybe talk about it yesterday, but yesterday was the weed day. So we should talk about Netflix because apparently Netflix plans to launch a cheaper ad-supported plan in the near future. Co-CEO Reed Hastings revealed the move on an earnings call after the streaming giant disclosed it lost 200,000 subscribers during its most recent quarter. And this also came hot on the heels of some other additional news from Netflix, where basically they were announcing that they were likely going to start cracking down on people sharing passwords. Netflix estimates 100 million households are sharing passwords and suggests a global crackdown is coming. And so, in the wake of all these announcements and general dissatisfaction with Netflix, people also recently woke up to the news that Netflix closes down 35%, wiping more than $50 billion off market cap. So yeah, we should probably talk about this a little bit, because also I'm seeing a rather interesting, and by interesting I mean absolutely shitty and terrible and just, transphobic and misogynistic tweets and such from right-wing grifters and trolls talking about, oh gee, I wonder why Netflix is losing subscribers. And then they show something like, look, two gay people kissing, or it's a pregnant trans man, and it's because they've gone woke, right? And so it's not that Netflix has gone woke, which is why this is a problem, right? For example, HBO Max gained a bunch of subscribers recently while Netflix lost subscribers. HBO Max, meanwhile, has, they're erasing white people because that's the show The Garcias, right? Following all about us Latinos and our growing up and, just family dynamics and stuff like that. There's also the gay subtext and Our Flag Means Death. So it's not exactly like HBO Max is without some heavy use of wokeness, right? But that's really going to be a subject for a completely different time, and that's not really what the focus of this is today. Instead, I want to talk about how Netflix, and this is kind of a sign for many other streaming platforms, Netflix basically shot itself in the foot because it kept chasing money and profits. So allow me to explain. Netflix was basically the first one of the big streaming services, right? And in many ways, it was revolutionary. I remember when people were all nervous because, Netflix is producing its own movies and TV shows now. Oh, is this going to make or break Netflix? Like, that's how, old I am in terms of the Netflix saga. And that was a thing that actually happened for a while. But they, of course, just cemented themselves as one of the biggest giants, and everyone else wanted a piece. So now there's Disney Plus. There was CNN Plus, but that's gone now. There's like Discovery Plus, AMC Plus. There's Stars, Crave TV, Hulu, Paramount Plus. You get the picture, right? Wherever you look now, there's all kinds of streaming apps and streaming services now. And so that's become a bit of a problem because now everyone's wanting exclusivity. And so and on some level, people might say, well, that's the free market, baby. And to an extent, there is that. But we're dancing around the core issue here, which is that of piracy. Online piracy was very much a big news talking point when I was a teen and also in my early 20s thereabouts. But things like Netflix started to eat into that because, you know what? I just pay a very manageable monthly subscription fee and I get good quality films and TV shows and I can watch them in the comfort of my home on the big screen in great HD quality and with amazing audio quality because I have surround sound speakers here. Okay, that's fine. All right. Don't need you piracy anymore. Thank you for the teen years and the fond memories, but bye-bye. And then because of everyone trying to, geez, look at Netflix, so successful. We got to have that. And we got to have exclusive stuff now. So streaming only on Amazon Prime or only on Disney Plus or only on Netflix or only on Paramount Plus and only on HBO Max, etc., etc., etc. Now that's caused a lot of competition. And unfortunately, in a capitalist system where the line must always go up, people are looking to try and cut corners wherever they can, which brings us to what Netflix has done recently. So like we mentioned at the start of the video, Netflix is introducing a cheaper ad-based version, and they're trying to crack down on subscription sharing because they feel like, oh, that's eating into our profits and our money, blah. And now, because of them basically cracking down on that, they are losing and are likely going to continue losing many more subscribers. It also doesn't help that Netflix, in terms of, their unfortunate model, is quantity is greater than quality, apparently, when it's really not. And so what's happened with Netflix over many years, and numerous people will tell you this, they have seen amazing, great shows, and after 2 seasons, I know, like, nearly half of my group of friends basically can't stop talking about Sense8, but they're not the only example there. It's just one that I've heard the most of more recently. So Netflix keeps canceling shows after 2 seasons, and then they just keep putting out schlock so that they can have an excuse to say, hey, look what's new on Netflix. It may be absolutely terrible, but look, it's new. We got new kids shows, new Christmas movies, new dramas, new comedies. We got new sci-fi. We got new thrillers. We got new horrors. And half of it is just objectively terrible, and you don't even remember it. You just think, man, this was terrible. Why did I spend time watching this? And so when you're going through Netflix, and it's basically a roll of the dice in terms of what new content you decide to click on, and if it's going to be good or enjoyable for you. Meanwhile, they're also saying, by the way, we canceled your favorite show recently. And we're going to increase prices. That was another thing that happened recently. Netflix increased its base subscription price. And now they're saying, by the way, we're going to introduce ads, and we're also going to crack down on password sharing. Yeah. No wonder people are quitting Netflix in droves and are likely to continue quitting Netflix in droves. And the idea that it's because they're woke has absolutely nothing to do with it. I just really wanted to address a couple key points about Netflix here, namely to push back against an emerging and semi-popular right-wing talking point, as well as to point out that Netflix really has no one to blame but themselves with their actions, and them being punitive towards their loyal fan base, if you want to call it that, and to their subscribers, and to people just casually trying to have some enjoyment in their increasingly stressed and crunched lives as the cost of living everywhere goes up. So yeah, Netflix pursuing further money in an already tightening market because everyone wanted to copy what they had and what their model was. And everyone's trying to find some new different thing that will make them stand out from the crowd. And as a result of that, Netflix became desperate and it wanted to please its shareholders. Never mind its subscription base, it wanted to make the numbers look good. And then when the numbers didn't look good, now we're talking about Netflix and, is this the fall of Netflix? All of this is happening for the variety of reasons I listed and because of the current situation where people are basically having less wages and the cost of everything is going up. So these two core aspects of our modern society combined are making people leave in droves, and they will continue to do so. And what pushed them away wasn't necessarily, wokeness or the content even. As much as I said, it's about, to a certain extent, a roll of the dice with whether content on Netflix is good or bad. But it's basically how Netflix has been operating and how they're choosing to operate now that is resulting in them losing money. Their pursuit of wealth is now costing them wealth. And the fact that they can't see the irony is hilarious to me. But the underlying issue here is that Netflix is likely to not be the only one doing this, either now or in the future. Others, such as Disney, Paramount, Hulu, Crave, Starz, like whichever one you can pick or choose, they very much run the risk of falling into the same pattern of behavior as Netflix, where ever chasing the, line must always go up, must please shareholders. They're going to risk alienating their base further and further, and more people will turn to piracy or to cheaper alternatives. And these companies are likely not taking this lesson away, and all it's going to do is make streaming worse for all of us consumers, and it's only going to bring back piracy even more. And all these companies have no one but themselves to blame, and yet they don't realize this. And so this will likely become a seeming inevitability at some point in the future. And that is what's bothering me today.